In Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, there lies a cemetery for Creek Indian freedmen, the tribe's former black slaves. It's neglected and becoming a dumping ground.
Yes, this is one of the Benjamins.
When Rhonda Grayson first heard about it, she didn't get very far in her inquiries about who owned this plot of land.
And when I received the second call, I said, this is the ancestors calling us, and we have to do something.
Not only did she find the owner, she managed to acquire the land on behalf of the Creek Indian freedmen. Now she's begun work on restoration and an accounting of who's buried here.
Now this is Rebecca Johnson, born July 4th on Independence Day, 1865.
At the recent commemorations for the centenary of the Tulsa Race Massacre, black Native Americans are a strong presence. And as with the massacre of 1921, many in the U.S. and elsewhere aren't even aware of their existence. Some Native American tribes long accepted black members. But in what's now Oklahoma, white settlers judged the tribes civilized because not only did they assimilate with the newcomers in dress and religion, but also in the adoption of black chattel slavery. After the Civil War, the tribal nations abolished slavery as part of treaties signed with the federal government in 1866. Former slaves would be fully integrated and now known as freedmen. And there was full integration and intermarriage. Ligas Choteau Perryman even served as the principal chief of the Creek Nation between 1887 and 1895.
We know that America Cohee was born in 1888. She is an original enrollee of the Muskogee Creek Nation.
Rhonda Grayson's great-grandmother lived her whole life as a member of the Muskogee Creek tribe. But then, in 1979, the Creek passed new laws decreeing that freedmen were no longer tribal members. The other tribes followed. Freedmen would lose their tribal voting rights, as well as their housing, health, and other benefits.
Everyone should be outraged that this could happen in 1979.
Tribes argued it was an expression of their sovereignty. An 1866 treaty with the U.S. government should not be the final say on who was a member of their tribes. They should be.
Sovereignty is fine, but sovereignty does not give you the right to discriminate against a people, and that's essentially what's happening.
Grayson, who's been leading efforts to overturn the new laws, sees other motivations.
It's about greed and it's about racism is the core of the entire issue. That's it.
Efforts to pressure the tribes to reverse their exclusionary policies have been successful in the courts. In 2017, the Cherokee Nation was forced to abandon plans to expel its freedmen.
Cherokees are people, and unfortunately in this world there's still people who are racist. I think the vast majority of Cherokees are not.
The U.S. Congress is getting involved, threatening to withhold funding if other tribes don't reverse course. And it seems to be working. Some say they will open a dialogue on the issue. But it is fraught. On the face of it, the federal government is overtly intervening in tribal affairs. However, since a Supreme Court ruling in 2020, the tribe's arguments for excluding freedmen have become shakier. The Muskogee Creek tribe argued for autonomy from the federal government. Its basis, the 1866 treaty with the federal government. And the tribe won. But it's that same treaty that gave freedmen full rights as tribal members.
Bioma Edwards.
The Creek are Grayson's tribe, and she's determined that freedmen members, both living and dead, will soon be able to reclaim their identity. Shia Bertansi, Al Jazeera, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.